This is really blowing up in the social media. This hashtag Cancel Canada Day. Canadians are upset Indigenous people want to cancel Canada Day. Just imagine how it would feel to have a country try to cancel your entire existence. This is going on Facebook at Notorious Cree. Hashtag Cancel Canada Day. Whew. Never thought this would happen here. And this is what they want the people of Canada to do. To drop the red and white and pick up the color of orange in remembrance of the Aboriginal people here in Canada. If you want to support the people, the Aboriginal people of Canada, wear orange to support those impacted by the residential schools. It's time for us to have that conversation about Canada and its history towards Aboriginals. They want us to watch films about the Indigenous people. I believe there is a channel here in Canada that they do have Aboriginal channels. So they encourage us to start taking in the Aboriginal social media. Follow some of these creators on Facebook that are trying to encourage Indigenous people to move up and better themselves. Sign up for free online courses from University of Alberta to learn more about the history and Indigenous people in Canada. Maybe if you can talk, then let your money talk and do some donation, your dollar and cents, to Indigenous organizations. Learn more about these residential schools and how they have attacked Aboriginal people. And once again, they want you to follow the hashtag Cancel Canada Day. Woo! Never thought this would happen, but now Canada is on the chopping block. So, wear orange or black. Forget the red and white. Do not even attend to these Canada Day celebration, fireworks, and shows. Just forget about that. Don't purchase any Canada Day items. Rather, take that money and donate to Residential School Survivor Society. And let's have the difficult talk about this before, we can even, for July the 1st, we can, instead of putting red and white for the flag, it should be white and orange. We can always do that to show that we want to stand in solidarity for the Indigenous people. These people have been disrespected from day one. Ever since Europeans came over, there was always a plot to get their land and get them out or moved over. Wow. And these are the different ways that they've been attacking the Aboriginal people. Inserting IUDs to Indigenous girls to make sure that they don't have that much children, to reduce the population by, giving them abundance of drugs that stop them from being fertile, such as IUDs, which work for years. They don't just work like the shots. These are items they put inside their body, and it would last for 5 years, where they would remain sterile for those 5 years, as long as the IUDs were in. They would relocate Indigenous people to areas that don't even have clean water. They have poor housing. They did the same thing that they did to blacks with drugs. They planted a whole bunch of drugs in these areas where a lot of them are hooked on alcohol. It's pretty much the same handbook that they've used against blacks they used on the Aboriginals. Gave them the worst part of the land before where they lived on the best part of the land. And now, with all of them missing, they're not even being recognized that some of the children have been missing, they have been killed. But all these bodies are coming up from the grave. And now, we got to take this a little step further. The racism is showing up in our money. The money that we handle every single day. The people, the faces that we placed on our money every day is reminding these Aboriginals of the racism that persists every day in Canada. We're going to start off with the guy on the $10 bill, Sir John A. Macdonald, the first Prime Minister of Canada. This is what he had to say about Aboriginals and immigrants. When the school is on the reserve, the child lives with his parents, who are savages. And though he may learn to read and write, his habits and training mode of thought are Indian. He is simply a savage who can read and write. MacDonald created the residential school system to purposefully destroy indigenous culture. He ordered child abductions, tore apart families, and did irreparable harm to future generations. Now we're going to pull up to the witness stand on the $5 bill, Wilfrid Laurier, another very popular prime minister. This is what he had to say. For a period of 1 year and after the date hereof, landing in Canada shall be, and the same is prohibited of any immigrants belonging to the Negro race, which is a race deemed unsuitable to the climate and requirements of Canada. While this order in council signed by Laurier never became law, the actions of government officials made it clear that black immigrants were not welcome into Canada. 1911. The third man we need to bring to the witness stand is W.L. Mackenzie King on the $50 bill. Another prime minister. Let's see what he had to say in 1938. We must keep this part of the continent free from unrest and from too great an intermixture of foreign strains of blood. As much the same thing as lies at the basis of the Oriental problem. I fear we would have riots if we agreed to a policy that admitted numbers of Jews. In June 1939, Canada, along with Cuba and the United States, refused to allow entry for the 900 Jewish refugees aboard the passenger ship Miss St. Louis. They were forced to return facing persecution in Europe. Wow, so it's not only blacks, it's not just the Aboriginals, now they're coming after the Jews. And this was 1938, not even a century away. Now, on the $100 bill, I'm talking about big bill, yeah. Robert Borden, another prime minister we got to bring up to the witness stand. What he said in 1907, British Columbia must remain a British and Canadian province, inhabited and dominated by men in whose vein runs the blood of those great pioneering races, which built up and developed not only Western but Eastern Canada. From a campaign speech during a time of aggressive policies against Asian immigrants, the Chinese Exclusion Act was in the stark contrast to white European immigrants being rewarded with free land. Now this paper that I read from you is created by Ryan Pillen, licensed under Creative Commons. He wants us to please share this to everyone. So you see, it wasn't just Aboriginals, now they're even coming after the Asians. In 1907, see, the racism runs deep. As many of us black that came from Africa, the Caribbean, we thought this was freedom, but in the background, this was going on. So this is what they say: to celebrate the nation state of lands now called Canada is to celebrate 1,322 children and counting found in graves at residential schools across the nation state. There's genocide going on. The ongoing systemic genocide toward the indigenous community, the continuous forced sterilization of indigenous women within the nation state, the trauma of residential school survivors and their kinfolk, the lack of access to clean water in indigenous communities across the country, the missing and murdered indigenous women who are still deemed a priority to officials, the forced erasure of indigenous culture and language through assimilation tactics, residential schools, and trauma. The same thing that's going on in America facing the blacks is what Aboriginals are feeling. So now I can really empathize with the Aboriginal people, and now I really need to question Canada Day, and I will stand in solidarity with them wearing orange. So now, cancel culture is not just going to stop there. And I started this video because when I was driving to go and get something to eat, I saw somebody deface a bridge and say, there is no pride in genocide. So now they're probably going to scrub it tomorrow. But even here in a small town in Niagara region, this is going on. So it's touching everybody in Canada. Most of us who are going to be in the cancel culture will be taking down a lot of these prime ministers. Even Dundas Street in Toronto is being questioned. They need to remove that. So cancel culture is going to have a firm grip on Canada and expose Canada for the racist country that it is. At first I didn't know, but I'm surprised. Hashtag Cancel Canada Day. Ooh, it's getting real. It's getting real out there. So Canada is without sin. It also has its own blood that is now popping up recently from these residential schools. Anyways, guys, if you got any comments, make sure you leave them down below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is William from YouTube. Bye-bye.